But one of the things I think is probably the most serious thought I had about the movie is, and I didn't when when it first came up, I didn't even think that much about it. Yeah, I mean, leading up to the movie, a lot of people were making a big deal, like, well, isn't it great they have a black guy starring as one of the main characters in the next Star Wars movie, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't even think that much about it. I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's the 20th century or 20, it's the 21st century United States. I mean, of course that's not that weird, you know. And I didn't even think that much about it. And then like just some of the backlash about it you see on the internet, it just surprised the hell out of me so much. Uh, how people say, encouraging people to boycott it and and just talking so horribly about something I can't even believe it. Uh, some of the people that were just so against the idea of just having a black guy being one of the main characters in Star Wars, and and uh, and it was weird. And then I like really got behind it. I was just like, you know what? I'm glad they did that. If people are gonna react that badly to it, I'm glad they did it. And then it's I went and watched the movie and and I just I mean, I love the character Finn. I think he's just I think he's one of the greatest characters like ever. And I love how he's almost like the un-Luke Skywalker. I mean, how what annoyed me about Luke Skywalker is he's just at he's like, I just want to be in a space war. That's like my dream. And it's like Finn is just kind of like if he ever met Luke Skywalker, he'd probably like, well, I've been in a space war and it's not that good. It seems like Finn, he would be perfectly happy to go and live Luke Skywalker's life, at the beginning of A New Hope, just be a moisture farmer and hang out with Jawas, and he'd be fine with it. He'd be like, this is great, and I love that kind of character that just doesn't really want to be in 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 an action movie, really, to be in a death-defying adventure, which is like, I don't really like people like that in real life because they scare me. And I mean, if you actually like, a lot of the situations where, people are trying to kill you and you're killing other people, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you. And uh, and I just love, and he just, and he keeps getting, he just really just keeps getting dragged back into this situation that he doesn't want to be in, because it's really, in some ways he can't escape it, and in some ways he's just put in a moral dilemma where he can't bring himself to escape it. And I like characters like that. It's like Frodo Baggins, where he doesn't really want to have the ring. He really doesn't want to go on this adventure, but he does it anyway. I mean, I like characters like that, and I love his interactions with Rey, where they almost seem like children almost, and it's just really charming in a lot of ways. But the one thing that annoyed me about the end of the movie is where it is the last scene where Rey's she's gonna fly off and find Luke Skywalker, and she just kisses Finn on the forehead and says, thank you, friend, or something like that. But she calls him friend. And I'm like, he's in the friend zone. And I'm not saying that you have to have, you know, black people in your movie, or you have to have interracial relationships in your movie just to prove that you're not a racist. But it's just really, I mean, in any other action movie where there was a male and female lead that were in that kind of situation, there would at least be some kind of romantic tension. And they kind of brought it there, and then they just kind of copped out at the moment, at the last minute. And I was just really surprised they did that. And you know, you can't help but wonder, is it just because they're just afraid to put, you know, an interracial relationship in a movie, you know? And it's just weird. In this day and age, there's they're still afraid to do that. And it's just really sad. And a lot of it doesn't come, you know, it's not that I want to, you know, make some sort of racial, you know, mark or something, you know. I just, you know, they're just really great characters, and you get invested with these characters, and you want to, and I want to see them together. And the idea that they might not be together because of, you know, this fear of putting that kind of relationship in a movie is just it's just sad. But it seems you kind of see this problem in other movies too, where you see the new Fantastic Four movie that just came out. I mean, I didn't watch it because I mean it really didn't look all that interesting. But I mean, you know, you can just tell from the poster. I mean, you know, Johnny Storm is black, but of course, I mean, if you know anything, I mean, Johnny Storm and Sue Storm, they're sisters. Sue Storm's not black, and it, you know, it makes you wonder why did they do that? You know, because they're, you know, they're brother and sister. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they explained it like one of them was adopted or something. But you know, if you look, I mean, Sue Storm, she ends up you know, being Mr. Fantastic's girlfriend or wife. You know, depending on which version you're reading or watching. And I think they were just like, no, we can't do an interracial relationship in an action movie like that. We're not gonna do that. You know, they're just copping out. And it's kind of weird in some ways. It kind of took away from the movie from me. You know, it's it wasn't as good as it could have been. And I think a lot of that I think they're kind of testing the waters, and they're not sure they want to do it or not. They're kind of seeing what the reception of this movie uh, would be like. But I don't know. Like I really hope that the next movie makes up for it in that way. But in all seriousness, I still don't know if I'm really objectively judging the movie, because it's just like like I said before, it's, you know, it's just the Star Wars thing. It's just messing with my mind. It's a Jedi mind trick. That's what it is. But I'm pretty sure I can say this. It's not as good as the originals, but it's definitely better than the prequels. Unless you actually like the prequels, and maybe then maybe you'll think differently. But I don't like the prequels. But that's it. That's all my important thoughts on Star Wars, and that's it. Bye.